Hello and welcome to Burning Questions, another edition. We're back on track. It is episode 2 of season 2, and what a special we've got here. Because the Queensland Carnival's coming up, we're trying to improve interstate relations. So we're going to a couple of blokes who are up in the Sunshine State. We're going to start with you, Tara Tom Hogan. How's it taken us so long to get you on Burning Questions? And you ready to roll?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I'm ready to roll. Just, wait and something happens,
Well, finally, something is about to happen, and I can see you've had a little bit of assistance. Let's call a spade a spade. You're one of the great bookmakers and punters of all time, but getting on to the teams meeting, there's been a little help from out wide, Tara.
Yeah, plenty of help. Sue set us up here, and we're not sure about the technology, but Sue's a technical girl. She gets things flying.
I need to find me one of those. And Andy Gath, you're not in Victoria, but you're up in Queensland, just relaxing. You look like you've got a little bit of a tan. You're up at Norm Jenkins' place. Are you prepared to stay safe? I think. How long are you up there for, Andrew?
Yeah, no, I head back tomorrow morning. So, yeah, been up here since Monday night. So just keeping an eye on Norm and making sure everything's going okay for him. So a little bit worried. Don't get to see him very often, so it's good to come up for a visit.
Is he okay? Have you sort of looked after him and just made sure he's all right, or what?
Yeah, no, he's okay. As you said, luckily he's put us up at his place. It's not the best place I've ever stayed at, but it's not too bad. But yeah, the views are okay. So hopefully he doesn't send us a bill. But no, been good fun. It's good to have a break sometimes. We don't get.
How about the opulence on the chandeliers or whatever? I mean, that seems unnecessary. We know you've got money, Norm. That just seems flagrant for mine, but we love him, and certainly Andy does. Great connection they've got. And Skeeter, could you show us around your mansion as well? Is that all right? It looks really nice there, wherever it is.
Yeah, I won't, because I'm at Epsom Road and in the meeting room here with your clothes still in the corner, which have been there for about 3 years. So I probably won't do a tour of my premises here, but yeah, probably wishing I was at the Gold Coast like 2 of our panel members.
If you could pack up a bag of those clothes for me and bring them in for the Friday form panel tomorrow, I'll be very appreciative. I need a little bit of a changeover. Right, we've got sponsors. Whether you're celebrating a win or shoveling in the stables, Norm Jenkins doing that. You want your staff to look their very best, and you do that with uniforms from Hip Pocket Workwear and Safety. They've got you covered for clothing, protective equipment, and plenty more. Check out hippocketworkwear.com.au. The first of our burning questions, and we'll hand it straight over to our very special guest, Tara Tom Hogan. Vic's veteran trotters, right for Ultimate Stride's picking in the I didn't do it free for all. Now, he's opened a lot shorter than I would have expected, Ultimate Stride. It was a good winner last week, but he had conditions to suit, and he's $1.90. Talk us through it, Tara. Is he the on-top selection, number 1 and number 2? What does $1.90 look like to you?
No, he's first pick, but the price is ridiculous. I think he'll blow out to around the 220, 230 mark, in my opinion. I've done some prices on the event. I marked him 6-4, which is $2.50. Sports better getting out to $2 now. He'll run black figures, no doubt. A brilliant juvenile, and last week was pretty good. But had the run of the race. Greg drove him well. He found the front and handed over to the right horse and got a good drag into it and come off his back got up the inside and won pretty comfortably. But he's a very, very nice horse, Ultimate Stride, and around the Inter Dominion time, I think he could probably make the final, Ultimate Stride, but a little bit tricky here. Travel Bug begins all right, and Andy's horse looks like the leader again, McLovin. Had no problem in handling Travel Bug, Brando Prince, and Wobbly last time when they met, got across comfortably. So, yeah, but the price is wrong at the moment for mine. I'm not potting him. He's a $2.50 chance for mine.
Well, Tara, I'm known as a relatively loose character. I've gotten even looser. I think I marked him $3.50. So I'm glad nobody can bet with me because he's $1.90 at the moment with the tab. What's up behind you, by the way? Are they all previous form guides that you've stapled?
No, that's the trials. That's the trials. They're all the Melton trials that we've done over the last 5 weeks. Got to every one of them. Andy was at quite a few of them. There's a Geelong trials up there, and Maryborough, whatever I've done. So I have all the trials on the back.
I wouldn't be
So I
surprised.
can just turn around like this, Bono, like this. Instantly look at the trail on either side.
That's why you got the swinging chair. There'll be some people with
Correct.
magnifying glasses watching Burning Questions, seeing what they can find out from the trial sheets behind you. Skeeter, what are your thoughts? Like, you were very keen on Ultimate Stride last week. I just think that was a perfect situation for him. He was $2.10. He won well. I can't have him at odds on. He's my top tip, but I don't think I'll even be having a bet in the race. I know that's sacrilege, but I don't think I'll be having a bet in the race.
Yeah, completely in the same boat as both Tom and yourself. I'm not as keen as I was last week. Bond conditions just look like they suited there a little bit better than they do here. Look, in saying that, he is on top for me, but yeah, I couldn't dive into the $1.90, no way, no. And I just think there's quality horses on the front row, back row, racing really well. And Greg probably didn't fill me with stacks of confidence when we spoke to him after the win. He said there's plenty of improvement to come, so no doubt he would have benefited from that run last week. But yeah, maybe we won't see the best of him, the absolute best of him, until, you know, another 3 or 4 runs potentially. We know he's only lightly raced, so can absolutely win, but I won't be having a bet at that price.
No, I won't be having a bet at that price. There was a little smirk on your face at one point there, Andy. I wouldn't mind you letting us know what's going on there. And McLovin, third up from a break, the grand old warrior. But I've got a concern. There are rumours swirling that his trainer hasn't been with him for a few days. So, I mean, I've got my concerns that he can improve third up from a break. What are your thoughts?
He might go better. Obviously, first up, we're a little bit disappointed with his run. He did get. We chose not to trial him, but in hindsight, it was probably a mistake on the trainer's point. The way he pulled up, he did sort of needed that run pretty bad. And next start, he didn't have much luck on the fence. So his work's been really good. Well, the week that we left anyway. So hopefully he's still working well. So we expect that he's going to be in front, and there'll be a better performance from him. And it's going to have to be for him to win this race. Ultimate Stride obviously to win the beat, but you know, $1.90's poisonous odds, and as we all agree, he's going to drift out. But yeah, it'd just be nice to see Ultimate Stride do it off the fence and see if he's capable of being, you know, a lot of these old horses have been around for a long time. But I'm willing to forgive McLovin's last couple of runs and expect a better showing this week from him.
Yeah, well, he's 56 years of age, so you might want to trial him before he goes out there. He's got sore. I'm pretty sore already, and I'm only 42, so I can't imagine how the grand old warrior McLovin's feeling these days. Question 2 of the Burning Questions is brought to you by the Fresh Connection. They export, they don't import it, they export it, they send it out. Australian fresh fruit to more than 35 countries, headed up by Damien Glengarry. I can't even speak of what a great job he's doing as the export manager. Magnificent. The Fresh Connection specialise in citrus, table grapes, cherries and mangoes. freshconnection.com.au. And we ask all of our new Burning Questions guests what their favourite fruit is. Tara, Tom, Hogan, I'll hand it over to you. What is your favourite fruit? If you could have anything, and you're up there in a beautiful area of the world for fruit, what do you like?
No, we'll stick to apples.
She'll be
She's
apples.
apples, you know, she's apples.
How do you like them apples from Goodwill?
Yeah.
Tara, will Treachery cross the masses in the Richmond Lass, and can they defeat her if it's the case? Now, we got the real top 4-year-old mares, I suppose, Ladies in Red and Joanna, and maybe Beach Music out of this, but these other ones have all competed with each other, and sometimes one's beaten the other, and Doug's Babe's beaten moments like these, and Treachery's beaten them both. There's not a lot between the lot of them. Is Treachery quick enough to get across, particularly, I reckon, moments like these at the start, and is at the end of the story if she does?
Well, it's a bit tricky. I don't really want to put my head on the chopping block, but we'll give a little bit of info. Moments like these was a neck in front of Joanna at Ballarat, but it couldn't cross, and Greg Graytold was sat in the deaf. Treachery in the Breeders' Crown final led from 7 pretty comfortably. It gets out very good, and then it accelerates after the start. And by the time the winning post comes up, it was a length and a half in front. I say moments like these will get across. It's major surprise. I think Treachery can get across. I think, but it's no moral to get across, but I think it will, and will be very hard to beat. Moments like these will be the danger sitting on its back.
All right, is that pretty much the end of the story then? I mean, Doug's Babe, Shayela, even Mateo, there's a number of horses that there's not a lot between them in ability, but if they're leader behind leader, is it a complete 2-horse race?
If that happens, yes. If Treachery leads in moments like these sitting on its back.
And just remember this, Tara, I've had to remind Andy this on a number of occasions. We call this Burning Questions for a reason. You've got to put your head on the chopping block. They're not supposed to be easy questions. They're burning. They're on
Right.
fire. You need an extinguisher.
Right, Treachery to lead then.
Andy, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Treachery can lead, so I'm putting my head in the chopping block. And yeah, I think moments like these with Doug's Bay might be too quick and hold her out. And if that's the case, I think either one of them will be the best winning hope out of the three top chances, I'd say.
Now, I'm either getting confused. Did you say Treachery will get across and putting my head in the chopping block, and then you said a couple would hold them out? Or did I mishear you?
I'm saying Treachery won't get across.
I won't get across.
Yeah, I reckon moments like these with Doug's Bay would be quick enough to hold her out.
Does that create a race of much more pressure then? Does Treachery, if it gets to the breeze, lay down the law a little bit and it brings one or two others into play under your scenario or not?
Yeah, probably does. Again, they might be confident enough just to sit in the death quiet to still be able to get the job done. She was terrific first up, and you think she'd be better again. So, we keep talking about these fillies from last season and how great they've all raced, and now they're all racing against each other as 4-year-olds. They're always a little bit tricky. There's not much between them. It's all who's going to have the better run, in my opinion. But I don't think Treachery will be fast enough. But I am up against Tom Hogan, who does form a lot more than me.
Well, you're up against Tom Hogan and Jason Bonnington. I think that Treachery will be getting across. I think it will be getting moments like these will begin quickly, but I reckon Treachery from out wide will be able to get the necessary acceleration up to cross over. They're my thoughts. I'm not saying the race is over there, but gee, Treachery will be very hard to beat if it does lead. Skater, are you going to make it 2-2 or are you going to go 3-1?
No, I'm going to go 3-1. When I first looked at the race, I think moments like these leads because she's just developed a lot of gate speed and she can commence really quickly, as can Doug's Babe. So I thought from the good draws, that's what happens. But then when I looked a bit further into Treachery, as Tom mentioned, when she led from 7 in the Breeders' Crown, even when she led from 6 in her first up run, she was excellent there, and it didn't take her that long, and she really mustered and just flew the gate. So I think she can probably, with that bit of a flyer from out wide, get across. It will be interesting. I dare say that Doug's Babe will have a bit of a dip and try and get across moments like these, but I think Greg can probably hold up there. So look, in saying that, I think Treachery, all she has to do is pinch a quarter and she's going to be awfully hard to beat. She was excellent first up, as we all saw. But in saying that, I thought moments like these was outstanding recently in New South Wales as well. She broke 26 for her last quarter, and just from an impossible position was super. So probably not the horse that Treachery wants on her back, but I think they look the clear top 2, but very narrowly going with Treachery in thinking that she gets across to the top.
I thought the key for Treachery was sport mental. She's Overcraft, Belladonna Girl, all don't want to come out. So it just creates that opportunity where you're not trying to get across 1 and 2. You can just balance up out wide and go whooshka. Did you think about wearing a bikini for this edition of the Burning Questions, Andy, by the way? Because with that scenery behind you, I just would have liked to see something a little more sheer at least, perhaps.
Did you? Well, again, I'm only showing me body shot here. I can go down low if you want to see what I've got on.
Burning Questions after dark. I can go down a little bit lower. You weren't expecting this, were you, Tara? You thought this was a professional show.
Yeah, well, you've got to put a bit of fun into it.
Well, I don't know if I need that kind of fun that's being offered by Andy. But anyway, we'll go to the third question. It's brought to you by APG. Go to apgold.com.au. The third question, I'm a bit shook, is 888 in first up state to triumph despite his dire draw. We'll go to you this time first, Andy. I'm in two minds about this. He's been trialling really well, 888. And as I mentioned in the form comment, the last few weeks with the open class races, it's been like when you go to the nightclub and that really good-looking guy who steals all the ladies, all the birds isn't there, and you get your opportunity. But now, 888's the good-looking swaggerer that's turned up again. So they're all in a bit of trouble, but I don't think he's an over-the-line job.
Yeah, obviously he's had plenty of trials and he's going to go into this race pretty well wound up. Stables is in terrific form. You know, they're happy to have this one back, but all their horses have been racing really good over the last month. So I definitely think he's the one to beat. Probably wouldn't take odds on. I'm not sure what odds he is actually, but again, he's probably the one horse in the race that can make his own luck to some extent. Obviously there's horses in this race that are racing really well that are just below the really top horses in Bulletproof Boy, Shorty's Mate, Malcolm's Rhythm. So, but I still think he's good enough to get the job done.
He's $1.90 at the moment, 888. The horse they call Bart at home, so that's a bit short, Andy.
Yeah, probably. I'd probably want 210 or 220, but whether he gets out to that or not, it's hard to say. Been a pretty big betting stable lately, the Just Hub stable, so might firm in too. Who knows?
There you go. It's a bit short, like whatever Andy's wearing downstairs. Skeeter, what are your thoughts here with Triple Eight? $1.90. Look, I must admit, I marked him $2, but there's one horse in particular I'd be happy to play around him, and it's not the second favourite. I'll tell you in a moment. Skeeter, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I think he's a quality horse. We have seen that, and he's really versatile. So 3 trials under his belt, all have been good. So I think he'll be fairly forward for this. And Greg will probably wait till the dust settles. Everyone finds their positions, and I think he'll be off and around them and controlling things from there. So yeah, I think he's the one to beat. You know, he's probably about the right price for mine. Wouldn't want to dive into anything shorter, but yeah, the one to beat.
What do you reckon here, Tara? The one that I speak of that I reckon is it get a little bit hydrated there. It's getting nice and warm up on the Gold Coast. A part of Desi G's going up there as well. Maybe she can say a lot. No, in fact, not partying with you guys. No. Let's pull back on that. Right. I'm thinking to myself, Reactor Now might be able to get the front. And if Triple Eight wants to sit back here because it's first up from a break, Reactor Now grows a leg, maybe a leg and a half when he's in front. He's about $7. But are you declaring Triple Eight or otherwise?
I'm pretty keen on, I'm not declaring it, I'm pretty keen on Triple Eight. I've seen all these trials. His last one was a beauty. Okay, he had it pretty easy. He found the front at the 1500 and had it pretty easy in front. 55.7, 26.5 head on his chest. Beat Better Eclipse pretty comfortably. I just think he'll round these up and he'll be too quick for him. But I'm with you around even money. I'd want $2 or $2 plus. I don't want to take red figures.
Well, the concern always is, isn't it? I mean, he might be the best horse in the race, but it's first up and there's bigger fish to fry, and it's just how you drive the horse as well.
Well, the July Carnival starts in Queensland. You would think he'd be heading up this way.
And they have been known, the team, despite their new reputation as a massive punting stable, of being pretty quiet with a couple of their good ones first up from a break. So I would also need better than $2. Final question of the burning questions is brought to us by Falvo Fruits, specialists in table grapes, not apples, sorry, Tara, but you might like table grapes as well since the 1960s. Michael and Josie Falvo are keeping the tradition going. God bless them, and everyone loves their grapes. Everyone I've ever met loves grapes. Keep an eye out for Falvo Fruits. You know you'll love them. Final question of the burning questions before we get stuck into our best bets. And I've got a bone to pick with Andy, who took it upon himself to get my best bet beaten by a lip in the last race last week, and that had the biggest grin on his face I think I've ever seen, even post a Group 1 win. He was so happy. Tara, have pole marking alley secured success for the gifted pair, Blitzern and Swamp? So that's Blitzern and Drain the Swamp in the 2 heats of the Metropolitan Pace Series. Drain the Swamp, I reckon, should lead, Tara, but I'm a little bit, I've got Blitzern clearly on top, but I'm a little bit worried that La Captain might cross it at the start. I don't know what that will mean for the race, but how do you read the two?
I think La Captain will get across and Blitzern will be on his back. Major runs the gate quite well, but if you remember Blitzern in the heat of the Derby at Bendigo, he led and handed up to one of the Soho horses. Yeah, La Captain gets across and be pretty hard to beat for mine.
You'd be preferring to back La Captain than Blitzern in that race?
Yeah. Yes.
Put a cat among the pigeons. And what about Drain the Swamp?
Drain the Swamp was an incredible run in Sydney.
Yeah.
It's funny, the run before wasn't that flash behind Mustang at Melton. What the run before was at the heat or when it ran fourth, but I'm talking about when it ran third. Massive win first up at Stall from Barrier 1 led. I think he can lead here and it'll be pretty hard to beat. Celestial Track will run the gate quite good. Lochinvar Jag will run the gate okay. Foolish Pleasure can run the gate, but he'll go back. And Kiss Me Elvis, you would think it'd go back. Drain the Swamp kicks up and it'll be hard to beat.
Andy, give us your assessment of both, but I did the stats on Drain the Swamp. He's been in front 9 times in his career for 7 wins and 2 placings. He's never won when he's not in front, despite the massive run in Sydney. 24 starts, we're not leading, for no wins and 8 placings. So the first 150 metres is pretty important for him, I reckon.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think he's the one out of the two. If he does lead, I think he should be winning. We find horses that have raced at Menangle and come back down to Melton, they sort of go another level again. And he was terrific his last start there at Menangle. So I think he looks like the leader and looks like he's the one to beat. Blitzern, not 100% sure. I think he's the one to beat. If he gets crossed, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But if he's able to hold up, I think he'll get the job done as well too. I think they're both the best 2 horses in the race, and they've got the best 2 draws.
Tara has frightened me. Not for the first time in life. He's frightened me a little bit here, Skeeter, because I thought maybe even Blitzern was the better of the two. I think both will be winning, but I loved Blitzern's first up run. I don't like Captain seems like a nice horse to me, but I don't know where he sits with a horse like Blitzern, who placed in the Derby final last October. Are you with me? Are you with Tara? Are you sort of with Andy? Are you out on your own? What's going on, Skeeter? Talk.
I have them both on top. I think they're both going to be hard to beat. I think Drain the Swamp's probably the better of the two chances. As you mentioned, he is a leader, only be beaten twice when he has led. So I think he leads and he'll be awfully hard to beat like everyone else. I thought he was superb recently up in the 4-year-old APG final at Menangle. So he leads and very, very hard to beat for mine. And Blitzern, he's never drawn one in his career, surprisingly. So he has shown enough gate speed to hold a forward enough position, but like Tom, I actually thought that La Captain might be able to get across him, but in saying that, I still think that Blitzern can probably do no work and then sprint lane past him late. So both on top for mine, but I think the better of the two chances is probably Drain the Swamp.
Now, before we get to the best bets, I need to ask both Tara and Andy a question to ask Norm. If Skeeter and I were to pop up maybe for a few days during the Queensland Winter Carnival, might there be a spare bed, a roll-out cot somewhere we might be able to visit and stay up in Queensland while we're there, Tara, or not?
Well, at the moment, she's pretty well full, but there might be a little gap for, 4 or 5 days. But there's a few got in there before you. Actually, I had a few come up here for Christmas, and they got to the sales, and Jack and Dee Moran, and you could never get them out of the pool, and you could never get them to stop drinking beer.
I can't promise I'd be any different. I don't know. I'd be less for the pool and more for the beer. But and Andy, maybe if there's no room at Tara's, maybe
I'll go and ask him for you. I'm not sure where he's hiding, but he'll be here somewhere.
Look at those chandeliers. It's Roving Gath.
That's it.
This is going to be a new segment. Take you to different people's lifestyles of the rich and the infamous with Andy Gath. Where are you?
Yeah, we got him for a second.
What's Norm wearing?
Norm.
Hello.
J-Bon and Nikkita want to know if they come up here, they've got somewhere to stay if they come up for the carnival.
Not a problem at all. Not a problem. Welcome to have you. Keep up the good work. And that trots vision, keep that going. It's wonderful.
I expected a little bit of a whack, Norm. That's beautiful.
I'm a nice guy sometimes. It's just that you get me on the wrong side sometimes. You were invited to stay once before.
I'll tell you right now, I'll definitely be staying. It sounds like there's about 47 rooms, so I think there will be room for us, Norm, and we won't swing from the chandeliers. Beautiful home that you have there too. I don't know why you let people like Andy Gath come up and stay, but that's entirely your choice. It's your house.
Yeah, well, I did say you could stay as well, so that evens it out a bit.
Yeah.
Norm Jenkins, what a legend. All right, let's get some best bets before I get even more flustered. We'll start with you, Skeeter. What's your best on the program?
Yeah, tough one. I think Drain the Swamp might be a little bit too short. So here's my best. If he's, at least $2, I think I would be happy enough to take that. But I might go with my black booker from this week in Yankee Gold Race 5. I think you'll be able to find the top, and over the short, conditions will really suit. So I think the danger in that race looks like Jelly Nitro, but hopefully we can get an okay price for Yankee Gold.
All right, my best on the program for about the 11th time is Soletic in the $100,000 claimer. I just think there's going to be a lot of early speed on. Jawbreaker, Aussie Battler, Doubtless Bay and Sicario, a couple of those horses who've really improved since going to Menangle, will be in the race as well. But I think that Soletic will be stalking them and will beat them. We're going to give the great man, Tara, the opportunity to go last this week, Andy. So I'll get your best bet third.
Yeah, well, I got to go with McLovin, the fact that he's in the next room listening to me. So, no, I think McLovin will go a lot better, and I think he's going to find the top. And yeah, so we know this is probably going to be his last preparation, but I'm sure he's still got a couple more big runs in him. So hopefully McLovin get the job done. And over to you, Tom. No pressure. If you want to get back on this show, you've got to leave us with the winner.
Okay. I'll go with La Captain.
Oh, please talk us through a little bit more. Like, do you actually rate him? Do you think he's a pretty good horse, Tara?
No, the distance helps. The driver helps. And I think he gets across Blitzern.
We very much appreciate you.
Who's going to take him on, Bono? You tell me who's going to take him on. He's going to pretty get a soft run in front.
You know,
All shook up probably in the breeze.
I came up with a ridiculous idea, Tara, and I know you've been very generous with me and the fact that you rate my form analysis, but you're going to laugh at this. I think Blitzern will get crossed, and rather than be behind the leader, I reckon Blitzern will pop off, thinking I'm a much better horse. Sit parked outside of it and
Blow it
beat
away. Hopefully.
So I've just dropped in everyone's estimation about another 7 levels. And by the way, it sounds like I'm staying in McLovin's room. He's in the house, and I'll get McLovin's room. I'll just be sneezing all night. There'll be a smell of horsehair in the room that Norm Jenkins gives me. Tara, hope you've enjoyed it, mate. It's been great catching up with you. I've had a good look. I can't see any of that trial information, unfortunately. But apart from that, it's been wonderful having you on Burning Questions, mate.
All right. Thank you, Jason. Hopefully we might get back in another 12 months.
Good job, Andy. If McLovin wins without you there, I think we know that maybe you're not as important as everyone thinks you are, but just you can't actually, you don't have a runner, do you, in that $100,000 claim, so you can't bomb me this week. So that's the main thing. Enjoy the rest of your time up in the Sunshine State.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Good job, Skeeter. That's been Burning Questions for another week. It's been a very special week with Tara Tom Hogan joining us. And I'll tell you what, I'll be off the show and he'll be your new host if Lark Captain wins that race. And I'll also be cast and I'll need a snip from Tara as well. That's been Burning Questions. Catch you again next week.